Hello everyone! So, this is gonna be a little bit of a different type of video for me. PPT2 got a balance patch. Or, well, it's a new patch anyway. It fixes quite a lot of things. So, Puyo Official today put out a tweet saying that patch 1.32 is now available, featuring Tetris vs. Tetris and Puyo v Tetris balance adjustments, Tetris game speed adjustments, fixed issues with item cards in boss raid mode, fixed issues in skill battle mode, and other bug fixes. And oh boy, after testing this patch out quite a lot today, it's a pretty good update as far as how the game works mechanically. So, in this video, we're just going to be covering each of these points one by one. So, I guess with that, let's just start off with the first one. So, Tetris vs. Tetris balance adjustments. What this basically just refers to is that the combo table for Tetris has now been altered slightly. So, basically, what that amounts to is that forward has been nerfed slightly, which is honestly a good thing considering of how universally annoying the community response is to forward. How people just generally just don't like fighting against a forward. Basically, if you guys don't know already, forward is an incredibly safe technique that is almost really hard to play against. Well, it is really hard to play against because combos just keep on doing continuous damage, and by the point, like, a single line clear does even more than a Tetris line of garbage, or at least in the previous patch. What this patch does is that if a combo down stack or forward or otherwise gets to 11, let's just say in the previous patch, if it gets to 11, that's an immediate 5 lines per damage for each recurring line that you are that you clear. But what this balance patch does is that for lines 10 and not 10 and 11, 11 and 12, if you clear those within a combo, those now deal 4 damage each instead of 5. So for each of like the spell lines, like for Klug, he's my boy, I'm going to bring the example up. If you you instead hear Ursa Major more than Gravity Strike, which would be like the final spell of Witch. So, and it's a nice little change, but this doesn't mean much practically. Why a forward is so powerful is because of the continuous damage that just kind of builds up over time. And it honestly just gets way too powerful no matter how much you combo or T-spin, just because you cannot keep up with clearing a single line. It's going, like, the Tetris player is just going to be fast with clearing the lines. A single line just cleared. I'm not explaining this well, but you're likely already going to be dead by the time that the Tetris player already gets to the 11 and 12 combo. And if it's like a 13, like, it's still 5 continuous. So it's a step in the right direction, but this doesn't really mean much for as a combo table nerf, for example. Forward is still extremely powerful. And this nerf is basically just a slap on the wrist, basically, for Tetris. And for Puyo vs. Tetris balance adjustments, I can only find one, and I just remember reading this somewhere, but the power chains for Puyo has now been buffed very slightly. I've tested this earlier today before, and like a power 2 chain does about 6 to 7 lines of damage. Power 2 chain that pops like 3 groups of Puyo at once. So I'm not exactly sure how much it has been buffed by, if at all, but it's still a nice thing to see. Now, the second bullet point over here, Tetris game speed adjustment. This is the big one. So, a very big complaint, largely from the competitive community about Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, is that Tetris feels too slow, or like too slow in an awkward way to play, basically. And what this balance patch does is that the soft drop speed of Tetris and the the landing frames of Tetris. The frame data, basically just Tetris frames data in general, it's much more akin to Puyo Puyo Tetris 1, which the community actually kind of like prefers for Tetris players and such. I have no idea why I'm having such a troubling time talking. It basically, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2's Tetris now just works very similarly to Puyo Puyo Tetris 1's, and that's a pretty good thing. Like, for myself, Tetris feels honestly a lot smoother to play, and honestly, I've been so used to kind of PPT2's kind of awkward, jarring Tetris frame data that it's now kind of like competing on my PPT1 frame data. Not frame data, but I basically just have to kind of like unlearn the awkwardness that I had to get used to. So I'm not exactly sure that's a problem in of itself, but the Tetris in Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 feels really good, honestly now. It's a shame that it wasn't like that in the first place, but at least it's here now. Heck, they wanted to kind of like imitate Puyo Puyo Tetris 1 so much as that the sound effect for horizontally moving a Tetris piece is now the same as Puyo Puyo Tetris 1, and it's a nice callback. It's... but... yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just that Tetris vs. Tetris, I think like a lot of people are just going to be happy about the new balance change. Maybe it's a little bit of a too little too late thing now that games like Tetrio or Tetris Effect Connected are now out, but it's a nice little step. Now, of course, with this speed change, actually, this actually means a couple things. So, the Puyo vs. Tetris matchup is actually going to be a little bit harder now for Puyo, since now that they have to deal with an increased Tetris speed, and that was actually one of the Tetris' main weapons against it. But we also got that power chain buff, so how much this actually like affects the balance of the PvT matchup, I don't really know. I can't really say all too much. I might need to work on something like that a little bit later, but as for right now, just like buffs to both games, it's really nice to see for the modes, and yeah. So, next up, fixed issues with item cards in boss raid mode. Honestly, like, according to what I've heard, like there were card effects that were ineffectual in boss raid mode, that just like flatly didn't do anything. I've been playing a lot of boss raids, and I didn't even notice any of my item cards. Maybe I just don't pay attention to the item cards enough, but as far as I know, nice little update so that skill battle, in some extent, is actually functional. I think it only like impacted boss raid, because I don't think it mentioned anywhere, I didn't think it mentioned skill battle anyway, but just boss raids, but I don't know, nice as a little balance patch. Fixed issues in skill battle mode. What this basically just means is that Tetris's margin time has just been fixed to kind of match Puyo's, and margin time, what can I say? It's margin time. Damage is gonna go all over the place, so I don't really have much of an opinion. I don't really play skill battle all too much. It's fun sometimes, although I just don't really play it all that often. Okay, so because I'm a big Dumbo, I'm actually recording this bit in post. So, there's something that I missed for this balance patch, and it is that Puyo and Tetris doubles have kind of been changed a little bit. And by Puyo and Tetris doubles, I mean you're on a teammate. Let's say you're a Puyo player. You're on a Tetris. You're on a team with a Tetris player, and you're playing against another Puyo and Tetris player on the same team. That's what I mean by Puyo and Tetris doubles. Basically, what happens with that is, if one of your teammates die, their board tops out. The margin time effect for that doesn't spike up dramatically. There's no margin time for that at all anymore. So before the patch, let's say you KO'd the team's Tetris player, for example. Then what the game would do is that they would give an insane power buff to Tetris and basically just leave the Puyo player just struggling behind, as their march time can't really keep up with the Tetris, as they can just keep on clear lines, deal a very significant amount of damage, and that would be that for the Puyo player. That made doubles just a little bit unbalanced, and honestly, doubles is one of the most underappreciated modes within Puyo Puyo Tetris, and that I mean Puyo and Tetris. It's really fun, provided that you can get with the right player, because it becomes a mode where the Tetris player can like start defending your chain, but you still need to like defend your chain like that. If it provided you play with the right people, it's honestly one of the best things that you could do in Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, and I'm glad the margin time has been fixed, because that was a pretty major issue, and I'm just glad to see it, well, rectified. Usually in the matchup, I like playing as Puyo rather than Tetris itself, so I really, really like this as a change. The wins don't feel as cheap when you play Tetris either, so good change! And other bug fixes, the main one is that the promotion and demotion sound effect for Puzzle League has kind of been like swapped or mixed up. So it would actually like play like a slight little relief jingle once you lose your demotion, and then once you actually like keep your rank on a demotion risk, it plays the demotion sound for Puyo Puyo Tetris 1, and it was a funny thing, but an error that shouldn't happen in the first place, so it's nice as a little bug fix. And then there are a couple of other minor fixes, tweaks that we haven't really seen just yet. So, with that, what else is there? So, it says other minor fixes or tweaks, but I've yet to figure out what is specifically meant by this, But okay, what is next for the game? So, I wouldn't say Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 is a pristine game just yet, but the fixes that we've gotten so far have been really good. With the fix of the Tetris speed and such, a lot of players are happy with that. I think a step in the nice direction would just kind of be to focus on the netcode. And of course I'm going to say this because they haven't fixed the swap lag problem yet, and I think the netcode in general could be just a bit better, but I just want my swap to be good, man. Me, the swap guy, I really don't like the lag in swap, so I'm just hoping that can be fixed. I'm just hoping that can be fixed so that swap is actually, you know, playable. I'm not exactly sure if like a netcode thing is like going to happen anytime soon, but you know, the fact that we've actually just got a balance patch here, it gives me hope, you know. It just gives me hope. This is like I just think that like a general netcode fix because like on some cases like I have absolutely flawless pristine matches, but like in other times, like depending on who I'm with, I get like some small hiccups in the netcode every now and again. Granted, it just could be like an internet thing between me and my opponent, but I still think that the netcode could be improved quite a bit, especially since I don't remember running into issues like that within Puyo Puyo Champions or Puyo Puyo Tetris 1. And also, as I said, please fix swap. Please, SEGA. Please. Alright. But that's enough from me. And additional features. There's two that I can think of, and that is a spectator mode for the rest of the other modes. I have no idea why spectator mode isn't a thing for Swap, Fusion, Big Bang, Party. Like, the spectator mode is such a good quality of life thing for tourneys, and such. Like, swap tourneys could actually be held. Like, if you guys don't know, I've actually participated in the SEGA Unite Swap Down tournament, and for top 8, we needed to play free player mode for that, and it wasn't exactly fun because that mode is not, the perspective of it. Like, that mode is fine on free player mode, but the perspective of how your boards are, the boards are way too small. So having a spectator mode to just kind of like, to just have the 1v1 layout, it would be so greatly appreciated. Like, same thing, and it would be such a nice thing to have for Fusion, for Big Bang, Party, heck, even the Challenge versus modes, like, anybody remember those? Those are really nice to have. Those would be such a nice feature to have. And lastly, a huge update that I think would be amazing for Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, and I think we're all asking for this, crossplay. Like, currently, the Switch is the most populated version, and right now, like, the PS4, PS5, the Xbox Cloud, like, that player base is really small, but, like, it would be really nice to actually, have the chance to play with each other. I don't think, like, there would be such a thing as leaderboard inflation or whatever. I think it's just, like, we're just gonna get, like, more players and such, more players to just play with each other. It would be such a nice thing to have. And I honestly can't really think of anything else at the minute, so, I guess with that, thank you guys so much for watching this. I did this recording all in one take, so sorry for the video being very spaghetti, but hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I guess I'm just gonna see you in the next project. If you guys like this type of video for me just like covering the general patch notes and me giving my general opinions, then let me know, and I'll probably do more of these. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I think I've already said that already, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. So, see ya!